And we're live. Welcome everyone to the Vintage Dish. This is my special guest, Holly from Liberty Lake, as you may know her on Instagram. We are doing a pre-recorded episode today, so we are not live. However, I will be live here in the comments to chat with you guys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Holly, I'm so excited to meet you finally here. See
I'm
your
excited
beautiful
to be
face.
here. Thank you so much. It's just,
Of
it's very much an
course.
honor.
It is an honor for me because you have been one of my most passionate um, viewers, friends, followers, whatever. We're friends. You've been so passionate about my creations, and
Thank
it has meant
you.
so much to me. So it inspires me and brings me such joy. So I wanted to bring you here so that I could get to know you better and all of our viewers as well, because you are a staple in our live sales. But we don't really know you that well, so that's what this show is all about. So,
Well, thank you. Well, and you make it easy to be passionate about your craft. I
aw,
love all of it. So yeah, it's amazing to watch. So
thank
yay,
you so
thank
much.
you.
Well, let's start with going all the way back to the beginning and where you're from. Tell us about your family, your upbringing, what you loved doing as a child, and bring us through your childhood and then into adulthood with your life.
Right.
Mhm.
I was my mom. I had a single mom growing up, and I have a younger brother. We Yeah, we always had never needed or wanted for anything. Spent a lot of time, like you did, with my grandparents, from a very large Italian family. So every Sunday was, Sunday dinner at Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah.
And all my cousins and all my aunts and uncles would come. And we would go early, like after church, we would go where everybody else would kind of come later. So we always got to play at my grandparents' house, and I loved it there. And I think that that's where um, I actually loved furniture. I loved their furniture. I loved the big chunky pieces. I loved the soft pieces. She had a giant china hutch with all of her stuff in it. And she wasn't, my grandmother and grandparents, they weren't really collectors, but they had a lot of stuff. So I don't remember them actively looking for things because they already had it, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
she had her teacups and her spoons from around the world displayed,
Mhm.
and that kind of thing, and her good china and that, those things, and things they've brought back from vacation, but nothing that they actively um, collected. But I loved, and they had a basement that smelled like an old basement.
Oh, yes.
With the wood paneling, and they had, and it's amazing now because I see everybody with the lucite grapes, and they had a set of green lucite grapes down there, and my cousins and I would just knock them around, and now I'm like, I want to run back to the 7-year-old me and go, put it down, they're going to be worth money someday. But yeah, and she had an old typewriter downstairs that I would play with. And, so I would play with all of their old stuff. And
Mhm.
I loved that. And like I said, I love the old smell, and I just loved the old furniture. And that was actually one of my first pieces was that I ever bought as a real adult. I paid $30 for a pair of 1950s side chairs at a yard sale. And I had my son at that time. And I remember thinking, okay, can we eat macaroni and cheese for the rest of the month? Because $30 was a big deal. And I'm like, I've got to, I just have to have these chairs. They were bright orange velour because somebody had
Oh,
redone them. But the shape
wow.
of them I just fell in love with the shape. And so you'll see them if we do the home tour. I still
Okay.
have them. My son is now 30, and he was 6 when I bought them. So I've recovered them a couple of times. But yeah, and my mom, like I said, there wasn't any active collecting of vintage. We didn't go to yard sales or flea markets or even Goodwill or anything like that. We went to craft fairs. My mom was big into crafting. She liked crafting. We went, any kind of craft fair, the high schools, the ones at the fairgrounds, wherever you went for craft fairs. We went ever since I can remember. We always went to a craft fair. So my mom would collect those kinds of things. She had the one person who she liked their photos, or the one person who, she liked whatever they were doing. So we collected those kinds of crafts from different crafters. So I guess that was my first collection was, little things from different crafters.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, growing up, typical, I guess, for most people, childhood, we ran around outside till it was dark. And
Right.
when she screamed, "Get home now," we ran inside. And it was fun. I loved cartoons in the morning on Saturday. I heard you talking to Nate about those. My favorite.
Yes.
Just sitting
Yeah.
like this with my brother, this close to the television. The days before remote control, we you had to turn the knob.
Yes. We weren't allowed to eat in the living room at my it's funny, it's so funny because I guess my childhood is all about grandma and granddaddy's house. Like that's where I remember it. And we weren't allowed to eat in the living room, but my grandmama would she had like an ottoman and she would put the ottoman in the doorway between the living room and the kitchen, and we would sit there with the ottoman as the table so we could see
Yep.
the TV. That was number 1. Number 2 was, the little step stools that has a seat on it?
Mm-hmm.
So we would sit on the part that you put your feet on and then use
Yep.
the seat part as the little tray for our food and watch TV from there.
That's hilarious. Oh yeah, my grandmother's was goldenrod yellow, and we always laughed because when you sat on the top, it was a little pillow that would, when you sat on it. That
Yeah.
was a big joke. Yeah, we had my grandparents had these pink TV trays. So if you were eating in the living room, you had the TV trays that were too big for us. So she would just put it on the floor
Yeah.
without the stand. So yeah, same thing. It was, yeah, I loved it. I loved all of my brother and I are very close. And I remember, just sitting there but I would force him to change the channel, change the channel. The next one's on, change the channel. So, he was little, he had to do it. But yeah. And yeah, so like I said, my mom always made sure we had whatever we wanted. I wanted those strawberry shortcake dolls. She got them for me. She was really good about making sure that we never wanted for anything. So it was great. And like I just had my brother, but I have 10 cousins.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were all super close.
Mhm.
And so I feel like they were my brothers and sisters. So especially when you see them all the time.
Right.
And I apologize if I'm too loud or if I'm doing this a lot.
No, you're
That's the
perfect.
Italian in me.
That's perfect.
Very nice. Yeah. Yay. I don't know what else to say. Oh, I do remember when they came out with the cereals. You guys were talking about that too. I'm like, there was strawberry shortcake cereal. Do you
Ah,
remember this?
so delicious, and then the milk turned pink like
Yes.
strawberry kick.
Yes.
I would love to have it and taste it again because they've changed the cereals. They do not have the same texture. They do not have the same taste. I
No.
tried to eat Fruity Pebbles recently, and they've done something to that. It is gross. I mean, Trix is not little round things anymore. It's like
No, they're
puffed up
like
sugar.
flowers or something. What is
It's
that about? I'm not
it's
sure.
terrible. The cereal's terrible. I mean, I get that it wasn't very healthy before, but
It's
I'm
probably the big
sorry.
proponent of it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
we're still here. I mean, does that count for anything? That I have all my regular teeth still. I
Yeah,
mean,
right? Me too. And I grew up on sweet tea, so, I'm
mhm.
okay, I'm okay. But yeah, let's talk about the cereals. So, they had Donkey Kong Junior
Do you remember
that had the little fruit in it, and then
that?
Donkey Kong was like Captain Crunch, little
Uh-huh.
barrels.
Uh-huh. With the barrels. Yes.
And
Yes.
then they had, ET cereal, which was, like, supposed to be like Reese's peanut butter. It was kind of not that good. Did you ever have Kaboom?
I remember the packaging. Isn't that funny? That friend of mine brought me this game for school the other day, and I'm like, wasn't that a cereal? I actually said that so straight. I'm like, wasn't that a cereal?
It
And she's
was the
like,
worst cereal, and it was clowns.
yeah.
Of course, Smurf Fairy Crunch, which we talked about last week, and then I'm trying to remember what the Star Wars cereal was like.
Oh, see, and I don't remember eating. My brother was a little young, so we had the sheets and the bed sets and the
Yeah,
whole
they
business.
had the
But
sheets.
yeah, I don't remember ever having the star. I mean, I remember it, but
Mhm.
my mother was it was a treat to get the sugar cereal because otherwise it was plain Cheerios which,
Yeah.
could make you gag. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like feeding someone, Raisin Bran when they're 8. You don't do that to a child. So she was like, well, you have to eat through the box of Cheerios before you can have the sweet cereal. So we would chow through the
Yeah.
Cheerios first before we got the sweet cereal. So yeah.
And and then the prizes, digging through that box to get those prizes.
So fun. And it took us forever to figure out that all you had to do is pull out the bag. And then they got the bag, remember? So you
Yeah.
didn't have to dig through it. And I was like, oh, just pull out the bag. And then
Yeah,
there.
then it would be in the bottom of the box under the bag, yeah. I really loved Rice Krispies that had the marshmallows, those tiny little bitty colorful marshmallows. They were so
Yes. I was very disappointed years ago when they came out with the packaged Rice Krispie treats because it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that doesn't taste right. So they've changed it to the home style formula, which I'm not about to try because I'll just make
I
my own.
haven't tried.
Like, you fooled me once, Rice Krispie treat people. You will not fool me again.
Yeah, everything, all the flavors and everything has changed, and, I've revisited Kool-Aid during the pandemic, and,
How was
you
it?
know, it was okay, it wasn't like maybe I think they took a lot of the sugar out of the premixed formula,
And
but I
didn't you
drank
mix
it.
it with something though? Didn't you mix it with ginger ale or 7
Yeah,
Up
I think I
or
put Sprite in it or something, yeah, and then my Kool-Aid was expired. Um, I feel terrible, but I came across a package of, Christmas tags that have a Post-it on it for you from that sale I found, so I need to put those.
Oh, how funny. I
I'll
used those
include
this
those.
year.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
include those when I send your
Oh,
gift, but
my family was so funny. My mom's like, "Where did you get Cabbage Patch Kids tags?" I said, "I bought them. 'Em. Aren't they great?" So I used the ones you did
yes.
send this year. It was awesome. Yeah.
I loved looking at your Care Bear costumes when you
Oh,
posted
wasn't
the
that
Care
fun?
Bears, yeah.
Yeah. We have it. My team has, we have 6 classrooms, but we have 2 sets of team teachers. So they share or job shares. So
Mhm.
we had 8 people and we were like, okay, how do you think of a costume for 8 people? What do we do? And so it was, oh, Care Bears. There's 1,000
Perfect.
Care Bears. So that's, yeah, we wanted to do Care Bears. And I was like, just bring it on. And I'm like, I got a little bit of belly, so let's just stick it right on there. But mine was the star, and then I'm going to forget what his name was. Starshine Bear. But everybody thought I was Carl's Jr. Bear because the
Oh,
star looks like the Carl's.
oh my gosh.
My mom
Oh,
had made fun of me.
which color bear were you? Orange?
I was orange, yeah, and he has an orange star, and I didn't realize how close the orange star looks to the Carl's Jr.
Well,
winking
I
star.
don't know that Care Bear because the orange Care Bear that from our childhood was Friendship Bear.
Right. So this one's a newer,
Okay.
yeah, because someone else took Sunshine. I want Sunshine, and then Grumpy Bear, and so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. I said, is there a Cussalots Bear? There isn't.
Well, tell us about teaching. What do you teach?
I'm a third grade teacher. I've been teaching for 25 years, almost
Wow.
25 years. I've taught kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, preschool for a while. I would prefer not to go above that.
Yeah.
Older children. Nate was funny. He doesn't want to go. You know your niche, right? So
Yeah.
high school kids.
Yeah.
Bless them. I just can't. But I would prefer high school to middle school's the worst. Oh, they're, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I love children, but they're good. Bodies are changing and things are happening, and they don't know
Yeah.
their own emotions. And yeah, littles for me for sure. I love my class. They're sweet. They're always sweet. I love teaching. I'm very passionate about it. And today was great. We had a great day today. We had a math test and we were flowing and jibing. It was awesome today. It was a really good flow day.
That's so fun.
But yeah, I always knew I was either going to be a teacher or I was going to work with senior citizens.
Mhm.
For some reason, it was one or the other. And
Right.
yeah, and then teaching came up, and I cannot imagine doing anything else. When you have your absolute worst day at work and you wake up ready to go back. So it doesn't matter how hard it is or what's, especially the last couple of years, it's been quite the journey. We've learned, I didn't realize I was capable of learning more or something different, I should say. Curriculum, that's different, but the technology that we had to learn,
Oh,
I wasn't sure I was ready for that. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. But when forced into a situation, you make do or you
we
fall,
learn.
and perseverance. We got
Well,
there with
God
a
bless
lot of
you
grit.
for
Lot of grit.
being there for those kids during this crazy time. We're not supposed to talk about or say the words,
Sure,
when we're
sure.
monetized on social
Yeah.
media.
The year
But
that shall not be named. That's the
yes, yes, exactly. You'll see a funny moment on the crafting video that I shot on Friday. Um, because I mentioned something about Voldemort, and then my ringtone on my phone is Harry Potter.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I didn't really realize it. Someone else said,
Ooh,
"Oh,
creepy.
how did that happen?" I'm like, "Oh,
I said his name.
that is creepy."
Well,
But
and
yeah.
that's I love Harry Potter. I've got a little mini Harry Potter collection because his initials are the same as mine. So, and when I was
Oh,
teaching in Las Vegas, my first real teaching job was in Las Vegas. And I taught for 2 years down there. And that's when the books had come out. So the first book had come out and we read it to the class, and it was awesome. It was just the coolest book ever. And so then, we caught up and kept up with it. So, but yeah, I love Harry
I
Potter.
do too. There's nothing like it, and I mean, what could they possibly come with the next Harry Potter type thing? Because we never expected Harry Potter to happen, right? Like,
No, it was an absolute game changer as far as reading, especially for boys. Fourth grade boys don't want to read anything. Like it's like
mhm.
cars, sports. Fiction is not something. Well, back then, now it's a little bit different, obviously, but back then, boys did not want to read fiction. There was nothing interesting. I mean, unless you
Mhm.
let you magic, it's weird. But once they started hearing it, they couldn't get enough of it. So,
Yeah.
and I actually ran into one of my very first students my best friend lives in Las Vegas, and I ran into one of my very first students, and she's like, I remember your class because I remember Harry Potter. So that was because we had the whole sorting hat, when they do that in the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
We did that with the kids. So
How
we
fun.
got all the fourth grade together, did a sorting hat, and they went to different houses, and we had a big feast and at the end of the books. So
So fun.
yeah, we had really good time with it. It was fun.
Um, yeah, I had twins that I nannied for several years, and they were having trouble and struggling with reading and not wanting to read and not being good at reading. And it was the Goosebumps, the
Oh
choose
yeah.
your own scare books
Hmm.
that I brought in from another family I had where the girl was growing up, didn't want these books anymore. I'm like, well, I'll take these books.
Hello.
And so then I'm using them for the next set of kids. And so I would read aloud and then let them choose what to do. And then we started taking turns reading pages,
Yes.
and it really got them into reading. And then from there, it went into them on their own going into Harry Potter. So
Yes. See,
yeah, it's so
well, yeah.
rewarding.
Yes, and the Goosebumps were another one because I think it gave kids permission to kinda like the creepy and the scary,
Mhm.
and, R.L. Stine, I mean, again, another game changer for a lot of kids. And I have my son's original set. He loved all that. He loved all the weird stuff, so he was a good reader, but he liked all that creepy, weird stuff, and I was into it too, so it didn't hurt me any. I loved it. But, yeah, that's so see? Oh, the
Yeah.
magic of reading. It gets me
And
excited.
in 2020, I was doing virtual workshops or classes for kids through, I don't know, it was like a program that popped up and then I got involved in. So I would have a Goosebumps around the campfire. Was one of my classes, and it was so
How
much fun
fun. That's
because
amazing.
I
That's
got to
fun.
spend, yeah, I got to spend an hour with a child or more than one. If there were more than one, they would take turns making the choices, and I would read, and then they would get to choose what we would do next. And I mean, they would be like, some of them would build a pillow fort,
Mhm.
they would just kick back and enjoy the story time. It was so much fun. And then the following year I had then developed classes like those were just like, let's jump in and come up with something. And now it's like, okay, the next one we're going to have these really elaborate classes. And I had a whole Harry Potter thing planned. But then because the kids had to do all this virtual school, everyone just became so fatigued on the
Mhm.
screen that all of
Mhm.
that went away. So
Um,
then I got into making my dolls in ISN life
there
sales.
you go. It all
So,
works out. Do you
so
remember, did you have those choose your own adventure books? Do you remember those when you
yeah,
were a kid?
yeah, that's why I love the Goosebumps
Yes,
because choose
yes.
your own adventure was everything. And then now this was kind of the next generation.
Yes. I still
And
have all my books. Eh, my family calls me a hoard. I am a hoarder of books. So every single book, I've got bins and bins and bins of books. And I've got my library. My classroom is pretty large as well. I'm like, no, I can't yet. I can't go through it yet. But you've got 4 copies of this. I know, but I can't. Eventually, I'll be able to get rid of the multiple copies. But my Choose Your Own Adventure, they love. And they're like, "Is this your name?" Because it has my name written when I was
yeah.
10 on the inside, and it is my name. I read that too. So, yeah, they love it because they get to choose. It's
Mhm.
such a big deal when they have a voice in how they're learning or what they're
Right.
reading. Yeah, the
And some
investment.
of the outcomes really freak you out, and they freak the kids out. They're like, "Oh my gosh." Some of them are really tragic and scary.
They they are, and they don't all end with happily. And
No.
so, and that's, I think,
That's real life.
right? And for the old, like my 4th graders, that's what they kind of liked about it. It was like, oh, cool, especially depending on where they're coming from, to see everything end in a happy ending was not realistic. So
Mhm.
to find something that they can identify with maybe just a little bit
Yeah,
was empowering for them.
right.
So yeah, absolutely. Oh, that brings me
Um,
to just love it.
right. Did you play Atari?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Hello.
speaking of being disturbed, some of those games could be quite disturbing. Did you ever play Adventure?
No, the one I remember is the most is Tetris, of course. But Pong, I loved Pong. And looking back on it now, it's hilarious. It's the
Yeah,
most boring game.
but it's the noise, I mean, the little sounds and the
Just
little
ping,
dot.
ping. But I was like, I'm gonna get it. And I was so determined. But I don't remember the adventure one.
Adventure was, like fantasy castles and dragons and
What's
catacombs, and it was really intense, but the graphics were really bad. And, like, the dragons looked like ducks, and it was crazy, but it's like you could go and explore these castles, but there were glitches in the game where you might get trapped and you weren't supposed to, and then you can't get out. And it's freaky as a kid. You're like, "Oh, no, like, I
Why
did
am I
all of this and
stuck?
now I can't get out." And then there was another weird one. I can't remember the name of it, but it had to do with astrology.
Oh,
Um, it had to do with astrology, but it was a quest kind of game, and then you would unlock these codes and stuff, and my dad and my uncles were all, into this. It was like the adult kind of game, but yeah, it was another time, a magical time. I love watching those shows on Netflix. What are they called?
oh, how
Like
the
like
80s.
the toys we were made of or something like
Yes,
that.
that was awesome.
Yeah, I love that
I
series.
saw those too.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I remember that toy.
We're
Oh, I
just gonna
remember
hang out here for several hours because, I don't always interact with people my own age that
that."
I can talk
Right?
about all this stuff with, so
Well, and what's amazing is that, I mean, it just shows you the power of that time
yeah.
because it doesn't matter where you were from. Everybody's got those collective memories, which I think
Mhm.
is amazing to
Yeah.
bring to bring people together. I think it's so
Mhm.
fun. And my
Mhm.
brother, you were talking about He-Man. My brother had Castle Grayskull. I mean, he had the whole
Yeah.
caboodle. He had everything for it. And we're 4 years apart. So it was a little, I was, I'm like, yeah, no. you're on your own. I appreciated it and I watched the cartoons, but I
Mhm.
never would play with him with it. And so,
Mhm.
and now it's like, God, those were really fun. I should have played with, now I
Oh,
see him. I'm
it's
like, I
fun
should
now.
have played.
If you get grandkids,
Yeah, someday. I have,
bring
I
out
have,
those
I have
toys.
fur grandbabies. I've got two, my son's got two cats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're already there. I can't believe it. You're too
I've
young.
arrived.
Well, let's talk about our vintage community and how you happened upon it and how you happened upon these live sales.
So it was years ago, before the pan. My mother was like, "You've got to watch this gal on YouTube. She has all this stuff that we have from your grandmother." And I'm like, "Well, all right, whatever, mom." She's like, "No, she's on YouTube. Her name is Jocelyn. You've got to watch her." And so I was like, "Okay." So I go on, and it was right as Jocelyn was going from her um, metal detecting into crazy lamp lady. She was kind of tossing between the two, and so I went on. I was like, "This is super cool. Oh my god, I have that. Oh my god, we have that. Oh, I totally know what that is." And so it was just fun to watch her. And then during the pandemic, can I say that? Can I say pandemic? Yeah.
I think as long as we don't use the C
During
word.
that
Okay,
time,
yeah.
um, I think it was George the Antique Nomad sent out a show off your bunker challenge. And I was like, let's go on and see who these other people are. And I went in and saw Misty, and I'm kind of weird. I go back. So I'll go back to the very beginning because I want to get to know who you are instead of
Mhm.
jumping in right at the end. And so I started watching, and I watched right from the beginning of Misty's videos, and um, loved her. Thought she was hilarious. I was like, oh my gosh, we would totally be friends in real life. And so just loved her videos. And then from there, and from Jocelyn, Michael popped up on the scene. And then, and so I just kind of started watching all these other people. And then Michael had Stephanie Vintage Freak on, and it was a live sale, and I was watching, and I had lurked for a while on these live sales on YouTube, not on Instagram yet. And I lurked and watched. I hadn't really commented, and just kind of seeing how it was run. And I was like, you know what? I want those poodles. I want them. I think I'm gonna okay. I think I'm gonna do it. And I just did it, and it was so much fun. And so she was my very first buy ever. And then you guys were on. Were you on Vintage Rescue Squad?
Mhm.
And that's how and then Marcy and Allison were on one night. And so I thought, oh, I've got an Instagram account that I hardly ever I do. I never really went on it. I didn't really do anything with it. So I thought, well, let's try that. So I went on, and then it was through Michael that I originally got to you guys. And then again, I would lurk a little bit, and it would freak me out. They would wave, and I'm like you feel like they can see you. I was like, oh gosh,
Just
did they
don't
see
click on join video. Don't
Oh
click
my
on
gosh, it was
you
the
want to
longest.
join this video and then you're like queued up to be on camera. No, it's so misleading. You think it just means, oh yeah, I want to watch it. But
It
no, we're gonna bring you on.
it was because I would do that. So I think a lot of people in the beginning
Yeah.
did that. So I did that, and then I was like, "Oh, can they see me?" And I don't know if it was Marcy, and they were like, "You don't have to click on that. That's okay. That's just if you want to be on." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, well, And so then I would watch there, and yeah, and then from there met Sarah and then David, and it just kind of snowballed. And you find the people that you really click with, and you click with their vintage, and
Mhm.
yeah, and like I said, just kind of then you kind of meet new people, and you meet new people, and you meet new people, and so it was yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it except for snowball effect. It's like, oh my gosh, they're really
Mhm.
cool. Oh, they're so funny. Look at that vintage. That is so cool. Oh, I really need that. And Marion, oh, more money to Marion with my glass. She introduced me to blue glass, and I didn't realize I needed blue glass in my life until I met Marion. And I was like, blue glass. It just was
Seems
something
so calming.
I fell in love with it. And I said to my son, I'm like, I'm not really a collector. I don't really collect things. And he started laughing. He started laughing. He goes, "What do you mean you're not a collector?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, magnets, when I go vacationing, but I don't really collect." And he couldn't breathe for the longest time. He's like, "You collect all sorts of stuff. What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean I collect?" He goes, "Look at your classroom." He's like, because I collect Funko Pops,
Mhm.
these little vinyls. I collect Funko Pops, and I've got a Harry Potter collection. And I've got an old Globe collection at school. I've got our mascots, the Roadrunners. I've got vintage Roadrunners that whenever I find a Roadrunner thing, Paris is all over my house. I went there when I was in my 20s and fell in love. Behind me, you can see the Eiffel Tower. And so I've got vintage and contemporary Eiffel Towers. And so then once I start seeing that stuff around, or if someone has it, I snatch it up. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's the people in the YouTube and in the Instagram communities are the nicest people, the most genuine and authentic people. They make me laugh daily. And I think in a time like this, you need that. And
Mhm.
you need to know, I mean, just to, even though they're not with you, it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you. And I feel like we're friends. And I
Yeah.
know that some people think that's weird. And I'm like, it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not, right? I feel like,
No.
and the people in the chat are hilarious, and they're, again, genuine people, and they're, you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And people say hi, and if you do have a question, people are there to answer it, and they just, I don't know, it is a true community,
Mhm.
and such a nice one to get involved with, because there are communities that are not nice.
Yeah.
There's people that are not nice, and I feel like I have not met us. I've not seen it in the chat. I haven't seen it on Instagram. I have not seen it on the reselling community on YouTube. I have yet to find someone who is not nice and not kind.
We
So,
work hard to, keep that out of our realm.
yes, because you're good people, right? So it's,
Yeah.
and like I said, everybody in the chat too. It's not, it's like, why are you being unkind? Like, I think if someone says something
Yeah.
unkind, other people are like, you don't need to be unkind. So they're not, even when someone is unkind, the reaction is not to attack them. It's, you
Mhm.
don't need to be unkind.
Yeah.
Just stop. Please
Right.
stop. So it's, yeah, I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the people that I know on there. Oh, and the Fat Bird Finds, their Friday
Mhm.
night flipping and sipping sales. I lurked there for quite a while too, and they're so funny. And the people in the chat are so funny. And it just, especially during that time, it made you feel less lonely, and
Yeah.
you made you laugh in a time when you shouldn't be laughing, maybe. And
Yeah.
so it was, I think a lot of people have said it kind of just saved their sanity a little bit,
Mhm.
save that little piece of their soul that
Helped us
maybe.
all to survive, you
Yes,
know,
yes,
feel feel a sense of togetherness and
yes,
some magical things. So
absolutely.
I'm personally grateful to all of you guys.
Well, and I know that everybody is grateful to you guys too. And and even now, I mean, I feel like it's boomed. Am I wrong? Like, I feel like it's just exploded in the last couple of months on Instagram for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
Like,
it's everybody's watching and saying, "Hey, I can do that," and
mhm.
they're doing it.
Yeah,
So it's now kind of out of control. So
yeah. Well, and I remember when 70 people or 80 people was like, holy cow, look, oh my gosh, we have 100 people. And now, that's like, it's crazy the numbers, which is so good, because I feel like it's not just sellers too. I feel like it's people learning about it. And
mhm,
like, I had that when I was a kid. Wait, I want to buy that. So,
mhm,
I feel like buyers are out there too, and collectors are out there as well as resellers. So, yeah, it's, and like I was sorry, I got off track. But with, even on the sales, hey, even if you're just here to hang out,
yeah.
the fact that you guys say that is so nice, because a lot of people do feel like, ooh, well,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can't be there
afford
because I
anything.
can't afford anything. No, I don't want I mean,
Yeah.
I am very big on that because I know what it's like to not be able to afford anything. I mean, I supported myself since I graduated high school, you
Hmm.
know. I just recently got married a couple years ago, so, like, I know what it's like to be out there working hard. You don't have the extra money to buy extra things,
Mhm.
but you could really use the joy and the community and the nostalgia and the entertainment, and you should be there hanging out because this is not I mean, we only have 15 items. I mean, that's what my group usually we just try to keep it at 15
Mhm.
now. Only 15 people are gonna be able to buy
Right.
something.
Right. Yeah. It's all
We don't want
perspective.
just 15 people to come.
Right.
It's an
Right.
event. It's
Yeah,
an event,
exactly.
and it doesn't matter, who's the it makes me happy to see the people that I love coming there,
Mhm.
like, I get so excited to see, "Oh, so and so's here, so and so's here." It's like having a party, and the people that you really wanted to come are there, and
Mhm.
it's a magical thing, so, yeah, it's very important to me that everyone knows, and that's why I wanted to have this talk show, like, we're not selling anything here today.
Mhm.
So just don't even go there anyway. But this is a time where I can appreciate I prefer to call you guys our viewers or our supporters, of course, our friends. I don't want to say buyers,
Right.
because it's not about that. So
Right.
this is where our viewers can come and they can be on the screen and we get to listen to them and get to know them because you guys are so much more than a screen name. So I want everyone to know who you are,
Well,
and yeah, and then you guys hopefully will connect even more, and
yes.
and
Well,
it'll be
it's fun because someone asked me about my name. Like, "Is that where you live?" And I didn't see it, and because the chat was just flying, and I didn't see it, and someone else was like, "You scared her away."
oh,
I'm like, "No, I didn't see it. What? Why did I tried to crawl back to it?" And because I don't, I live in Eastern Washington. I live right near Spokane. We are very close to Idaho. It just I could spit and I hit it. And so, I didn't even, I'm like, oh, there's resellers here. Like, of course there's resellers here. That's just silly to think there isn't. But I don't know who they are. So it was nice to see her. And I was like, oh, so then, to try and track these people down is fun too.
yeah,
So it's made going out to the vendor malls and, the antique stores and stuff here so much fun because I'm like, oh, I wonder if this person's like, oh, they're on Instagram. Do I know them? So I kind of look for them now. And yeah, it's just fun. And like I said, it doesn't bother me. I'm like, okay, Spokane, right near Spokane.
I mean, we all can look everything up now and
Exactly. Where are you
Tokyo
hiding?
and all this
Yeah.
stuff, so we can't
Yeah.
be hiding.
Well, and my name is actually the name of my city. And
Okay.
I was on Instagram before they figured it out. So they weren't happy with me that I took it.
Oh,
And I'm
well.
like, and I'm not giving it up because now it's mine. So I'm sorry. And I
Yeah,
might
because
have
at
to change
first
it
it's
too.
like HM Parker, I think is what you are on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah,
And then there's Holly, and then there's Liberty Lake, and so merging all 3 entities together, then I think I finally realized who you were when you were there for the crafting show with Michael and I, and you bought
yeah.
my doll, and then,
It
okay,
takes
it
a while,
all
and I feel
everything all
bad
came
'cause
together.
I'll say hi to somebody on Instagram that I know on YouTube and I'm like, "Oh, they I'm just a creeper now. They don't know who I
Well, now they know who you are. They have a face to put with all the names, and they
am."
know, and they're gonna just fall in love with you even more, so
Well, thank you.
well, I would love for you to share your collection. So let's start with your classroom,
Yeah,
because I can bring some images up on the screen for you to talk about your displays in your classroom, which I think is super fun that you share these with your kids. So let's see. I'm just getting a little more savvy with the
no,
technology.
that's great. So
So,
this is right by my desk. It's my little mini. I've got so much more, but I only have so much space at school, so I will trade it out. But yeah, just my little mini Harry Potter, and a lot of this. So the background stuff is stuff I had, but a few of the pieces, the upside down cup, and the pop vinyl I got from a student. and the plush I got from a student. And the cup that's right next to the plush is actually Van Gogh's Starry Night
Oh,
that has
yeah.
Harry. It's like they did
Like
it.
a mashup.
Yeah. And so one of my students found that on Etsy and bought that for me. So I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I mean, so they do notice it, they see it. And so do you collect that? I do collect that. And then inside the glasses is my son when he was 8, when we dressed up as
Aw,
wizards for Halloween one year.
that's so cute.
And here's part of my pop vinyl. So I like to get the whole set of things. So, I've got the Golden Girls and Schitt's Creek and The Office. And
I love Schitt's Creek.
oh, that's the funniest show.
Obsessed.
I can think I've seen the whole series like 17 times. And it
Me
makes me laugh
too.
every single time. Um,
Yes.
and I got Ruth Bader Ginsburg right before she passed away. And I was like,
Yeah.
because I just wanted her pop vinyl. I thought it was hilarious that she had a pop vinyl. Mr. Rogers, Murder, She Wrote.
Love it.
I used to watch that with my grandmother. So I was like, oh, I gotta have Jessica Fletcher.
Right.
And then
My grandmama loved it too.
and my grandma, did your grandmother ever say, my grandma, that whenever the villain, she always used to call him the heavy. She's like, oh, he's gonna be the heavy. You watch. That's gonna be the heavy in this episode. Sorry, it was a little
Oh,
memory.
cute. I love
Um,
it.
and then in the jar is the advent calendars that they do. Funko does advent calendars with little miniatures.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
my mom got
that.
me a Harry Potter one last year, and then this year my godson got me The Office. So inside is the jar is just mixed characters, and actually that little box that jar is on is from David from Antiques. So
Oh,
David
love it.
Coleman. Yeah, it was the right color for my classroom. So it's like, I'll buy that.
Oh, wait, there's a woodpecker behind.
Oh, yeah, the Roadrunner. That's one of
Oh,
those
yeah, Roadrunner, sorry. I knew that,
Karak
but
trays. Yeah, and it was just a Roadrunner, and I was like, oh, look at that. And then when I saw on Jocelyn's channel, she's like, ooh, a Karak, blah blah blah. Mid-century modern. I'm like, ooh, I got for $10. I was like, sure.
that's awesome. All right.
And then here's more of my pop vinyl. I also I collect a lot of things. So I do collect the pop vinyl and the villainesses. I've got a lot of different things from them. So I had to have all of them.
Love it.
I just think that and the kids are so funny. They're like, why do you collect them? And I'm like, and I can't, it's hard as a teacher because you don't want to say because they're hilarious. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm like, well, I just think that, no one really knows their true story is what I tell them. So,
Do you
yeah.
have a favorite Disney villain?
I would have to say Cruella. Even as a kid, I loved the way she was drawn. I loved the
Mhm.
cartoon. I loved how she was just so dramatic. And, because, I can't identify. I'm very much an introvert, as you can probably tell. But she was very, and I
Yeah.
loved that about her. And so even as a kid, I was kind of rooting for it just a little bit. I want, but yeah, for sure.
Um, did you ever get into Medusa from The Rescuers?
Was she not crazy? Oh my gosh, I loved The Rescuers. And the
That
way
was
they
my
were drawn
grandmother's
back
favorite.
then, I
Yeah.
just loved the way that those cartoons looked back then. Oh yeah, she was not nice.
I
Yeah, and
mean, putting
Penny,
that girl down in the hole, come on.
Penny with her hair and her teddy. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that show. Yeah, she was a mean one. But yeah, where Cruella, I felt like she she wanted to hurt the puppies. I mean, don't get me wrong. But you didn't see her. Well, she was mean to the guys that worked for her. So let me backtrack on that.
Well, my favorite was Maleficent. I just loved her coloring. She was just always so calm, I guess.
Yes.
Like, I
In
don't know, kind of
control.
like me, calm. But the colors were just
Mhm.
beautiful in Sleeping Beauty.
Oh yes, she definitely had Yeah, yeah, no, they're all good. See, that's why and I love Ursula because of her va 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 boom. I loved how
Mhm.
I love how they had her carry herself as an octopus and yeah, they just really whoever came up with them really thought about them. They
Mhm.
weren't throwaway characters or just to be mean. They really did get them right. So,
Yeah.
and this is my globes. I've got vintage globes. And okay, so don't hurt me, anybody. I painted bases way before I knew not to touch things. So, because I wanted them to match my classroom.
Yeah.
Um, the one with the red base I got from a teacher who was retiring, and he had it for the longest time, and I just coveted it. And he was leaving, and I'm like, "What are you doing with the globe?" He's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Kind of want it." And he's like, "What are you gonna do with it?" I'm like, "Put it in my classroom. You're not gonna do anything to it, are you?" Like to the globe? No, nothing to the globe. I didn't say anything about the base, and I painted the base red.
It makes it more desirable, let's be honest, you know?
I just liked it. I was like, "Oh, I like it." And then all of my little roadrunners. It seems like everywhere I go, I find a roadrunner, which is weird because they're not their habitat is not the Pacific Northwest. Um, but it's kind of fun. I got the big one in the middle from George, the antique nomad, when he was up here.
It looks
So
great with your globe with the yellow. That
yeah,
was such a
right?
perfect
Yeah, I
pairing.
love it. And
I
he just
used to
makes me
love
happy.
Yeah, that's good. I used to love watching the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Beep,
Yes.
beep.
Hello. How many times does that coyote have to learn a lesson? He just never learns.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Okay, here we are. Okay, so we are ready to see your tour of your home collection.
Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna get you, bear with us. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna do
And let's
this.
see.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my son hooked me up here. He's like, "You're gonna look like, the people in those videos. It's all good."
Totally legit.
All right, so hopefully I will do him justice here with how he made me practice. So here's let me get to my marker here. Can you see so here's my buffet. This is my grandmother's buffet that I got. And then of course my Duchess Dolly. Oh, it's all backwards. Uh-oh. Hang on. I'll get her. There it is. Yay. Can you see it?
Perfect.
Okay. So there's my little dolly from you, which I love, and she goes perfectly with all of my glass.
Aw, love it.
Yeah, and this one probably I got from Misty, and it was the Viking Owl, and he was. Can you see? I'm sorry, he was it. Like I was like, okay, I'm good. I could probably never get another piece of glass, and I'd be happy. But of course, that's not true. I mean,
It's stunning.
I'm gonna buy more glass, of course. Um, and then, oops, pan. Let's see if we can do this here. And here are
Oh, look at the
all
cupies.
my little cupies. So hopefully you guys can see them. Hopefully I'm doing this
Oh,
justice.
I love how you have that one in the candy dish with all the conversation hearts.
Isn't he cute? She's
Yes.
probably, I mean, these guys, because they're so sassy. Let's see if I can get her closer. Ooh, look at her little wink.
Oh, I
She's
love
so
it.
funny. She's so funny. But yeah, so all of these are, I mean, Sarah, Darling Do-Overs, and Oak Grove Antiques, and Michael, and Marcy, and Michelle Comfy Cozy Living. I mean, my collections, Stephanie, and my collections are all from you guys. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love that you've given me all of this. This makes me
Aw,
happy.
that
I
makes
just love
us
it.
happy too.
And then my son introduced me to this artist. Pitch Hanker is his name. But I love her because she's got a giant, I don't know if you can see it, she's got a giant sword in her hand.
I can't see the sword, but
Oh, a
she's
giant
really
knife,
cute.
sorry. A giant
Oh, yes, there we are.
I thought she was hilarious, so I
She's
got
gonna cut
her.
those vegetables.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot
Oh,
chocolate.
buddy. All right, so I'm gonna go slow. Hopefully, I do this right.
You are a pro with your
Oh,
laptop
thank
doing
you.
this.
He had me practice. So here's my, I've got Beethoven just because I thought that was funny.
Is that blue? A blue
Yeah, it's
Beethoven?
blue. My house is
Love it.
blue. My blue,
Love it.
definitely blues. And then let's see, can I do it? Can I do it? And then all of my Eiffel Towers, and my
Mhm.
grandparents had a phone just like this, one of these old rotary phones
Amazing.
in black. So this was I bought this, and I was so excited to have it. It even has the cords if I ever want to plug it in. So, and I love pictures. So I have pictures all over my house. That's really I have to have pictures. I have to have pictures everywhere of my family. It makes me I love it. I just love
Yeah,
it. And then here's so there's one of my chair. Can I get it? Ah, let's do it that way. Ooh.
perfect.
So that's one of the side chairs that I bought when I was younger.
Love
You
it.
can
The legs, love it.
yeah, so I'm so sorry about the angles. He's gonna kill
No,
me.
you're doing it perfect.
And then this was my great-grandmother's table, and it's tiered, and then I've got all my
Wow.
little tchotchkes and things on there. That was one of the first thing I bought from Sarah, Traveling Button, the twerking Cupie.
Aw,
Thought that was her Pixie. And you can see I've got Paris. I've got Paris is everywhere for sure. See if hopefully you're seeing everything.
I am. You're doing an excellent job. I can't believe it.
Thank you. And then this is my, other little Valentine,
Oh my gosh, that
display.
mouse is
Isn't he so
everything.
cute? I was so
Yes,
excited. Yeah, and my more of my, different color. I was like, "Oh, well, let's do Easter Viking."
I
Can't have
love
enough Viking.
this. Your
So
displays are amazing.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, so here's my newest piece of furniture. I was so excited because all my furniture is either vintage. This is my newest piece. Let's see if you can you see the blue couch?
Ooh, yes.
I love it so much. And
Oh my
it's all of my
gosh.
furniture is old. I mean, my dining room table is my grandparents'. I did buy 4 new chairs to go with their 4 older chairs, but all of my other furniture it's all vintage, it's all theirs. So when they passed away, I got a lot of their furniture, but I just bought this guy and I love him so much.
Wow, Martha's gonna be so jealous.
Well, he has what I saw his is very similar. I was like,
Oh, okay,
"Oh,
okay.
poor Mark is gonna
Wow,
think I'm copying him." I'm not, I swear.
that is amazing.
Alright, so I'm gonna go slow, sorry. So I was gonna show you, my landing is pretty much my personality if you just threw it into a room. So,
Okay.
so, hopefully, let's see. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, there's my little marker there. Okay, so here is my pan down. So here's my
Oh, wow.
bookshelf. There's my Amy dollies.
Aw.
And and I don't keep funny enough, for as much as I love children's books that I have read, I usually give away. So I only have a few that are, that I really like. So hopefully you're still seeing. And then there's my new doll from Cole.
I love it.
And then I keep going.
And the Rushton.
Yes. And I can't wait. He'll go downstairs for Easter for sure. And then
You just put everything together so nicely. It just
oh,
looks
thank you.
amazing.
It's very sweet of you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
honored that my dolls are there.
Well, and then I laughed because I was like, there was that discussion about the tags. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, my tags are showing. I love my tags. And then I guess this is new.
Oh,
So
I
this is
love
my
it.
thank you. My wall is all Paris, of course. And then I have, let's see if I can zoom in, all of my nieces and nephews. I call them my nieces and nephews. They're my cousin's kids, but
Mhm.
I have them when they're little paint me an Eiffel Tower. So, and then I put it up on the wall. So
Love
they're all
it.
older now, but here's all of their art.
That's amazing. Kids' art
So,
is the best.
right? And I didn't tell them how. And we just showed them a picture. And so some of them
Mhm.
are better than others, but And then my green glass, because I like my green glass. And then this is so much fun. So you see all my pictures that have thrown up on here, but I love it. This is I don't know if you can tell, it's a seat from like a Studebaker. It's the springs, and I've used it as a
Oh,
bulletin board.
wow. That is so creative and so hip.
Well, thank you. And then this is silly, but I like to show it anyway, so if you can see the ding dongs.
I saw that as soon as you panned over there. So I think it's awesome.
It's signed by Jess Walters, who is one of my favorite authors, and he's from the Pacific Northwest. And I was at an auction, and he just kind of as a lark signed a box, and they auctioned it off. Well, it was going for bigger money than I had, and it ended up that someone I knew had gotten it, and and I had tried to bid on it, and I walked over. I'm like, "Congratulations!" And he's like, "I don't want this." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I just wanted to give money to the charity here."
Oh, wow.
It's like, "Oh, thank you."
That's awesome.
It's like, "Oh," I started crying, of course, because I was crying.
Aw.
And then I have, let's see if I can get her in frame. I have Esther, and she's a dress form that, are you able to see her?
Yes.
Okay. So she was a dress form for my best friend. We went and cleaned out her great aunt's house. She was 93 and she had Alzheimer's. So they were moving into her home. And we went to Iowa and helped clean out the house. Now, this was 20 years ago. Now, had I known now, known then what I know now, holy cow, she had everything. It was amazing, her house. But of course, they were packing everything up and giving it to Goodwill. But there was this, and she got this when she was 18. And
Oh my
so they let me
gosh.
have her. So we dressed her up and put her in my, that all that jewelry is my grandmother's that we just had someone just put together just so that we didn't lose all the miscellaneous pieces.
That is amazing. What a
And then
beautiful
the
piece.
suitcase was my mother's when she was
Wow.
younger, and the inside is bright orange.
Oh my. I love how you have put all of this together.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, well, that just makes me feel so good. Thank you. I
It's
love it.
just
It's things that make me happy. Like I said, this place is my personality in a room for sure. And so, when you're walking around, you just want to be happy. So
yes.
my house makes me happy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then here's the last piece. I know I'm probably running over time, but so I have on my wall down the stairs is all my
Oh, love
pictures.
it.
So
Love it.
yeah, that's it.
I love it.
Oh,
That's
thank you so much.
wonderful. Of
I love
course.
showing it off. I mean, it's like I know it seems silly, but I'm just like,
It
oh,
is
look at
not
this, and this is
silly.
so fun. So,
It is not silly at all. It's so meaningful, and it made me smile.
well, thank you.
I
Look at, I'm
know
like, oh yeah, I got to talk about my
all of our
stuff.
viewers are gonna love it too.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, can I show you one more thing? One
Of
more.
course. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is, I'm so sorry.
No
So you can get
worries.
it. So my grandmother did one of those photo booths.
Oh, yeah.
And so what my cousin did was he made them into just a triptych, just three different pictures for us. So
Love
after
it.
she passed away, we were able to, so I have that up in my house too. So
That is magical.
yay.
You
Thank
guys
you.
are all very artistic. You have an eye for design.
Oh, well, thank you. My mother helped too. I can't take full credit,
Well, yeah, you
but
said
thank
your
you.
mother was crafty, and
She
so it
is,
shows.
yeah, she
It shows.
So that was where her art comes out. My brother's a graphic designer. That's where his art comes out. My
See?
son is a
There we go.
sculptor. Yeah, my son is a sculptor. I mean, he works a regular job, but he loves sculpting and he's got some crazy cool stuff. And yeah, my whole family, we've got a lot of, one of my uncle did glass blowing for a while and carving. And so we've got a lot of very creative people in the family.
Love it.
They're all great. Not to brag or anything, but they're all great.
Well, of course they are. Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Well,
collection.
thank
It's
you. I
good
loved
to
it.
see it. So I am going to start highlighting some like special moments from the week and our live sales and things. So if
Fun.
any of our viewers out there would like to send in some clips to be considered to be featured here on the Vintage Dish, the email is in the description of the video. I think it would be fun to, just bring some different, entertainment segments
Yeah.
to the show. So
Very nice.
I'm just like experimenting. So today I have a highlight that was very special to me from my sale with Cole last night. As some of you know, Cole and I are now partners in Doll Inclusive. We're both doll artists and doll collectors. So we have partnered up and collaborated. And so it meant so much to me because he's very new to live sales. So last night, he had his first bidding war on one of his sculpted creations. So I was going to share a little snippet from that with you guys because it
that's
was
so exciting.
so exciting.
It's your first bidding war on your one.
I know. Thank you guys. Oh, Plaid Dachshund at 70. Thank you.
I want to ring a bell.
Oh, Yandindu is in there for 70. So, 75. Crazy for Itch. Thank you so much. All right. 76. 77. Thank you. 78 for the Plaid Dachshund. Oh, crazy.
I'm getting teary-eyed now.
I know.
I'm so proud.
Thank you guys. 80. Oh, thank you so much. 85 for Yandindu and the Plaid Dachshund. So 86 or more. Antoinette. 90 for Crazy Kids. Thank you so much. That's so kind. 99 for the Plaid Dachshund. Thank you so much.
That is amazing.
I know, right? I'm still getting teary-eyed again.
That's an amazing doll too.
Oh my gosh,
for sure.
Yeah, she was absolutely gorgeous. So
wow.
I'm like, you have arrived. This is only the beginning. I'm so excited to watch Cole grow and be embraced even more in this community. He is so special and so talented, and he inspires me. So I'm very excited to be inspired to do my own sculpting again and my, creating my own heads and my bodies. And that's why I'm looking forward to having more time to do that.
Yeah.
So if you guys enjoy my show, subscribe to my channel, give my video a thumbs up, turn on your notifications. It's a very easy and free way to support me as a creator. So thank you guys so much.
And well worth it. If you're not subscribed yet, so worth it.
But before we end for today, I would love to speak with you about core values and if you would share a core value that is important to you and how you implement it in your life.
For me, when I first thought about that question, immediately it was integrity. So because I kind of feel like, and I guess you could say this for any value, kind of stems into another and into another, they all kind of bleed together. But for me, definitely integrity. I need to be able to, I want people to know what they're getting with me. You can trust that, what I say is what I mean. And I need to be able to know that of other people, whether it's your product or whether it's you as a person. And I feel like with my kids, I need to do that. You can't be a teacher who's smacking gum and eating candy and saying, nope, you guys can't have it. I mean, I feel like that's not, so I want them to know that, and they hold me accountable for sure, but I don't want them to say, you told us we were going to have this and we're not getting it now. Because I want them to be able to trust, because I feel like it leads to trust. So for me, that's like I said, definitely being a teacher, that's something, and working with as many people as I work with. I want them to know where I'm coming from, and you know that you can count on me, and that I am, like I said, I feel like it leads to other things. I'm trustworthy, and I'm, you are going to get everything you see. I'm not going to be cruel, but I will be honest. But I feel like that's part of that integrity piece. So I feel like, and it's funny, my best friend, one time we were in line for something, and she's like, I was like, well, they cut in front of us. And she's like, you're such a hall monitor. And I'm like, I have to be for 180 days out of the year, that's my piece. But for me, that's an integrity piece. You just cut all these people. It's so rude. And I don't know, some people might not think that's integrity. I think it is. That kind of shows what kind of person you are. That you would cut all these people that are waiting just as long as you are. And it's rude. And the fact that you knew that and you did it anyway. So, because I wouldn't do that. I would have never done that to somebody. So, but she was kidding, but it was, she's like, why do you care? And I'm like, wait, it's just not okay.
Right. It's just the principle of the matter.
Right. So hopefully I answered that okay.
Yeah, you did. And I agree. I totally feel you. And I agree on that. Well, Holly, you have been so passionate about my creations and my creativity and such a huge supporter in this community. And I'm just so honored that you came from YouTube over to Instagram to explore what we had to offer there as well.
You make it easy. You make it easy.
So I made a special gift for you to thank you for all your support and for being a guest on my show today. So I made a special doll for you.
No! Oh, I'm gonna cry.
And I have.
She's so beautiful. She's gonna run. Oh my God, that is so amazing. Look at her. She's brunette. Oh,
she's brunette. She's got her teal and her yellow that you love. A little bit funky, Maud. And
look how pretty she is.
She has a little Starbucks too.
Oh, thank you oh my God, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
She's gorgeous. Look at her. Oh, that's so kind.
Oh, and for the first time, I took the hands from the pose doll and made your doll with the hands.
So special.
So, first one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what else to say. Thank you
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.
Well, she's gonna look perfect with my.
Yeah, she's very Paris. She has her. She's ready for the runway with her headpiece.
Oh, I love her so much. Thank you so much. That's so kind. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Way too sweet. Thank you.
Well, I have so enjoyed spending this time with you. You don't even know because I don't get out. So this is my social hour. Like we went to lunch together just now,
Right? Yes, that's how I feel. Thank you. Oh, come over to my house. I want to show you all my cool stuff.
Yes. So thank you so much. I hope that you have a wonderful week with your kids in the classroom.
Valentine's is coming, so.
Do you guys still have Valentine? Do you still hand them out in the classroom and stuff?
We didn't last year, but this year they are able to. The procedures protocol has changed, so they are able to, and we do the shoebox. A lot of people do different things. I love the old-fashioned shoebox. So they just passed out. I give them kits. I give them the shoebox and paper and cutouts, and then they get to do them at home however they want. So yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, let me see where my calendar is because I need to tell everybody. It's under all my crafting stuff. I need to tell everybody what we have coming up this week. So tomorrow is February 1st. So we have, it's already February. I can't believe it. So on Wednesday, of course, we have Wicked Good Vintage here on YouTube with Sarah, my lovely co-host, the Traveling Button. We are starting to rotate. So that 1 week it will be on her channel, 1 week it will be on mine. So please make sure you subscribe to the Traveling Button so you don't miss out and turn on the notifications. This week we will be on my channel and our special guest will be David from Junk Drunk Mantiques. Like so many of the names are like
that's Groundhog's Day too. You could probably do a little something fun with that.
Yes. So So that's on Wednesday. And then on Friday, I will be here on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously with Ron Dante, the lead singer from the Archies, Sugar Sugar. And we will be doing a live sale together. He will be bringing his signed Archies and Ron Dante memorabilia. I will be doing my themed Archies memorabilia, and it should be a fun time. So even if you're not wanting to shop, come and hang out. He tells the best stories, and it's a lot of fun. You can ask him questions. And then let's see, that's at 4:00. Sorry, I didn't do the times. So Wicked Good is 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Friday, February 4th is my sale with Ron Dante. It will be here and on Facebook at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then on Saturday, Friday, we got one more thing going on Friday, which is my new craft show, Doll Inclusive, with Cole Eugene as my co-host. Be sure to subscribe to Cole's channel, which is Kitschy Flower, because we will be alternating our show.
He's got some really cute videos on there too. Yeah, for sure. Subscribe.
He's going to be doing toy history. I'm going to be featuring some of his segments here on the Vintage Dish as well. So that's going to be on Friday, the crafting show first, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and then followed by Ron Dante sale at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Then on Saturday, Cole and I will be doing a live sale together on Instagram. That's Saturday the 5th. And that will be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern as well. But tonight, be sure, I know. Be sure to tune in to Vintage Rescue Squad at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then I feel like Sarah from the Traveling Button may be starting her new talk show, which comes on directly after the show. So
fun. Very nice.
It might be starting this week.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So you guys, that's going to be all about Instagram shop talk. We're going to talk about selling and buying and all the stuff. ISN, Instagram Shop Network.
And I love watching that. Even Vintage Rescue Squad. I'm not a reseller, but I learned so much. And it's like, oh, this is cool.
A lot of fun. So Mondays are going to be great. We're going to have Vintage Dish, and then we're going to have, I have to get Sarah's show's name correct. I'm not prepared, but it's something about ISN. I know that. Talking Shop or something. Sorry,
nice.
Sarah. That'll be fun. But anyway, Sarah, you'll head over to her after you get down here. And then after Sarah's show, you're going to go to Vintage Rescue Squad. And then you're going to kick off your week big and strong and positive with all kinds of happiness and motivation.
Yes. Yes.
And all right. So thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you so much. I so enjoyed it. I loved meeting you. And this was, officially meeting you.
I love meeting you too, officially on screen. Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up, and we will see you next